Okay, so next we look at the Helmholtz decomposition. So this is the first decomposition that we apply to a vector perturbation, and you can find an excellent review. If this is basically the mathematics is the same as what you have seen in electrodynamics, but if you want to refresh it, you can look at this excellent review which you can find on this link. So the basic idea is that a vector field can be decomposed into a curl-free component and a divergence-free component. The curl-free component is the component from which you can extract scalar. So you see, I am decomposing this delta f into delta f, and I am putting this notation s, and then delta f I am using this notation, decorating it with this v. So here delta fs and delta fv. Delta fs is the component which will give me scalar. Delta fv is the leftover pure vector component. Delta fs is the longitudinal part which I talked about in the last video. So you see, you can extract a longitudinal and a transverse part. So longitudinal part is the part that gives me scalar. So this is the longitudinal part. This is the transverse part. So I am decomposing vector into two parts, and in Fourier space they will be independent. So they do not mix with each other. That's the beauty of this decomposition. Now this scalar part is curl free and the vector part is divergence free. This is the condition which we are imposing upon these two. This decomposition, this splitting up, is subject to these two conditions. That is, you are splitting this vector into two components such that the curl of one component is 0 and the divergence of the second component is 0. So the component whose curl is 0 is longitudinal, it will give you scalar, and the component whose divergence is 0 is the pure vector component. It is transverse, and from cosmological point of view we will discard this. Okay, but let's first look at the mathematics here. So this line by mistake it got repeated, but okay, let's move on to the next one. To simplify the notation, I am going to write delta fs as s and delta fv as v. So I am decomposing this delta f into two parts, two vectors, s and v. So delta f is equal to vector s plus vector v. Next, the component s can be written as vector s is equal to minus del s. So what we are doing here, so this s, so we are writing this as gradient of a scalar s, negative gradient of a scalar s. So this is the s, and this is the negative gradient of a scalar s, where this scalar s is called the potential of the vector s. So we are now writing this vector, scalar component, scalar part of this original vector. So delta f I am decomposing into s and v. S will give me potential. S I can write in terms of potential. V is the transverse component which I am not interested in. And they are subject to the condition that curl of S is 0, divergence of V is 0. So be careful here that this S is not the magnitude of this S vector, because we are used to relating, like if we have vector f, then we think of f without the vector as a magnitude of f. But here this is not the case here. Here in this case, be careful that this s is not the magnitude of this vector. It is the potential. Now in the index notation is very powerful, and this is the notation that we are going to use heavily in perturbation theory. So make sure that you get a good practice of index notation. Take pen and paper and thoroughly practice writing all these equations which we are seeing here, and so that you get a good hands on the index notation. So you need to be well versed, thoroughly fluent with the index notation. So what are we looking at here? So this is the vector which I am decomposing into S and V. So this S vector, now in index notation, I will write as delta Fi, that is the ith component of delta F is equal to the ith component of S plus the ith component of V. Okay, where, what is Si? Si is equal to minus S. Now you see we are taking gradient here, so this is minus S prime I, and here we are taking divergence, so it is this. So we have extracted a scalar field S and a vector field V from the original field delta F. So this V is the pure vector field, and this is of no interest to us. We are mainly interested in the scalar field that we have extracted from the original delta F. One important thing is that the vector which we are decomposing is a 3 vector. Okay, so this is not a 4 vector which we are decomposing. So this delta F, that's why we are putting a vector sign here, and I'm not putting alpha. Alpha is the Greek index which we will use when we are talking of a 4-dimensional space-time vector, but this is not the 4-dimensional space-time vector. This is a perturbation, and we will see when we will look at the perturbations of metric tensor. So this perturbation is the perturbation which has 3 components, x, y, and z. So that perturbation, that vector perturbation which has 3, not 4 components, it doesn't have the time component here. So this is not this delta F with the arrow sign on top is the 3-dimensional Euclidean vector. Although it depends upon x alpha, it depends upon eta, it depends upon x vector, its dependency is upon x alpha, but the vector itself is the 3-dimensional Euclidean vector. So we are decomposing this 3-dimensional Euclidean vector into its, that's why see we have put I here, not alpha, because alpha would mean that Greek indices would mean that we are looking at 4-dimensional, and this IJK means that we are now looking in the Euclidean space. So it's a 3-dimensional Euclidean space, and yeah, and we will see when we look at metric tensor that we do come across that when, even before we are talking about metric tensor, later in the lecture series we'll look at the we will look at the tensor perturbations, and when I write a generic 0-2 tensor, then you will see that we can see we will be able to write the tensor perturbation. We will be dealing with one Euclidean vector bi when I am writing the components of a tensor perturbation. So it is this bi which on which we will applying this framework of decomposition of vector perturbation. So we'll talk about this later in the course. But for now, let us properly understand Helmholtz decomposition and make sure that you get good hands on the index notation.